Hello everyone, this is Post Edit Gray. I just want to inform you all that for this episode and a couple of the few ones after this, the audio quality is not exactly the best. However, I hope you guys still stick around because it does get better. Thank you! Hello, my name is Gray.
And my name is Crystal.
And this is Busty Asian Beauties, a supernatural commentary podcast where I, someone who has seen the show several times,
And I, someone who only knows the show through social media, discuss every single episode of Supernatural from start to finish. Also, we are both Asian.
we are both Asian. So, first episode of the show, the pilot. Crystal,
Yeah.
since you've never seen the show before, I am going to ask you, what do you think will this episode be like?
Okay, so I feel like I've seen, honestly, probably like most of the plot of this episode through social media already. Like I know like it starts with like a flashback and like Mary burning on the ceiling and John screaming, Mary, Mary, whatever. And then we go to like Sam at Stanford, and then Jess is there and she's hot, and then Dean shows up and they have to like go find their dad, and then there's like some creepy ghost lady or something. And
You
then
know so
I guess
much.
they kill her like at some point. I guess I assumed it would probably be through like burning or something, and then like Jess dies at the end of the episode. Yeah, so I feel like I know what happens in this episode already.
It sounds
Next
like.
episode, no clue though.
Well, the next episode we can't even say the title of the
Right,
episode, so
right.
that's fun.
Right.
Supernatural,
The next episode
go.
redacted.
So let's start talking about the episode now.
Scene by
The
scene.
intro screen,
Yeah.
right? It
Um,
changes every season. Did you know that?
Yes. I don't actually remember what the intro screen was for this episode. It wasn't particularly
It's very
memorable.
forgettable. Yes, it's not memorable.
Right.
It's just a black
Supernatural
screen
flashing
and then
on...
supernatural in like bluish white. So
Yeah.
it's
Alright.
not significant. I suppose every beginning of the season we have to talk about the intro screen.
Right.
So that's going to be our thing.
Yeah, no, that
For-
sounds like a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Graphic design is their passion.
Graphic
nothing really
design.
happened.
First off, we open up in Lawrence, Kansas, and it's a happy family intro.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Mhm.
I have a question for like literally every scene in this show.
Yeah.
Do you, like in your family, for example,
Uh-huh.
do you put babies in another room?
I think, like, when I was little, my crib was in my parents' room for, like,
Yeah,
a
exactly,
bit.
right?
Because
Like
it
you
seems
put
a
it.
lot easier to do that than, like, have to have a baby monitor set up next to, like, your bed and, like, get out of bed and walk to another room every
Yeah.
time the baby's crying. Like, I
Like,
don't know
what if
the
the
point
baby
is.
chokes in their sleep? You have to have
Right.
the baby beside you. What if
Right.
the baby has a demon feed them blood?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. If the Winchesters
like you
were
have
just
to.
Asian and kept Sam in their room, none of this would have happened.
So Sam is in a separate room, and then
Yeah.
the clocks stop and the
Right.
lights
Can we
flicker.
talk about the decor in his room actually? Because okay, he has like this baby mobile, right? And you look up, and it's like little like baseballs and baseball bats, like in a like just hanging around. Like, what is with that? Like, they were like, this is a boy baby, and thus instead of having like cute animals like the average baby mobile, we're gonna have sports. So he knows
Yeah,
to
like
sports.
it's a baby. It doesn't care about sport.
And then John, right, like later John asks Dean, like, hey, do you think Sammy's old enough to kick around a football? Which is like a joke, I guess, but like, Sam is 6 months old. Stop making him kick
Okay.
around a football.
It was kinda cute. Okay, Crystal. It
Fine.
was kinda cute.
Fine.
So I will give them a pass.
Alright, I just feel like they like, because like, this is like the establishing scene, right? And they decided like, the establishing fact about Sam is that he is boy and does sport.
Yes. it doesn't do wonders for our trans Sam agenda,
Ugh.
but
I guess they
so
just
it is.
knew early. At
Right.
6 months old, their AFAB little baby was like, "I'm a boy now," and they were all like really supportive.
So, Mary thinks that John is in the room, so she
Mhm.
goes out, and I must say, the shadow effect in this episode is exceptional.
Yeah,
It
no,
looks
they
really
did
good.
a good job
Like
with.
every time that they do a shadow scene, so like the Dean Sam fight scene later on, the one where they're in the staircase, it always looks gorgeous. It looks amazing. And Mary walking around looks amazing as well. And then, it's the usual. She finds John in the living room sleeping, and then she runs upstairs, a scream, and then John, and then we all know what happens.
Right.
This
Yep.
is the pilot episode of Supernatural. We all know
Yeah.
what happens.
Yep. He looks up. There's blood dripping on his hand. He looks up. It's Mary, stabbed to death on the ceiling. He screams, and she bursts into flames.
And then there's the iconic line, you forgot it.
Oh
Take your
right,
brother
take your brother
outside as
outside
fast
and
as you
run.
can.
Yeah.
Now, Dean, go! Dean takes Sam outside, and they're sitting outside, and
Yeah.
there are firefighters everywhere. And then we cut to black, and it's Stanford.
Yep.
We are at Stanford.
Yeah.
Present day.
Good for Sam. I don't know how he got his rec letters or like how he got
Yeah.
in without any extracurriculars. But I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe 2005 or I guess 2001 was when Sam applied. I guess maybe it was easier back then.
So we're at Stanford, and we see Jess
Mhm.
first and foremost.
Mhm.
She's wearing a
Sexy nurse
uh
outfit.
sexy nurse outfit. Yeah,
Right.
and she looks hot. She
Right,
looks
she does.
amazing doing it.
Yeah, and they
And
like
then
specifically pan up from her legs, like they're trying really hard to like sexualize her.
I actually did not notice that because I was looking at the foreground at the Mary John portrait.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I was focusing on that, and I thought it was, it's Mary and John. What more do you want?
The
And
perfect
then we have the
marriage.
iconic. It's not iconic, but the first line in the show by a main character.
Mhm.
Well, I guess Dean spoke earlier, but like by Sam.
Yeah.
Do I have to? Which,
Yeah, oh,
really
poor
embodies
Sam.
really embodies Sam's character. Like
Yeah.
it's just do I have to over and over again.
Yeah, Sam's getting dragged around all this episode.
And
Mhm.
then they will go to a party and they talk about Sam's LSAT score, which I have no idea what a high LSAT score is. Do
Yeah,
you?
no. What did Jess say it was? Like 176 or something?
174.
Oh, 174.
174.
I'm assuming the LSAT is out of 180, but I can check.
Oh,
Um,
so
oh yeah, it's 120 to 180, so 174 seems pretty good.
good for him. Good for
Yeah,
him.
congrats, Sam.
And then this is the beginning of one of our little segments inside the segment that is talking about the actual show, which is Gray doesn't understand Americanisms.
Yeah.
Because I don't. And there's a line here
Uh-huh.
where Sam goes, "We're not exactly the Bradys," and then the dude he's talking to says, "Well, we're not exactly," and then a name that I did not catch. Do you have any idea what that means?
The Bradys is referencing like the Brady Bunch, which I think is like a show. Okay, so Lewis said I'm not exactly the Huxtables. And I've not heard of the Huxtables. Um, but Urban
I
Dictionary
thought the
says,
Bradys were like Tom Brady.
oh
Because
no,
he's the only
no,
Brady I know.
no, it's like the Brady Bunch. I think are like, I think it's like a family show where like
A family show,
where like
yeah.
everyone's like really close. Okay, so okay, the Huxtables. Okay, was a family on the Cosby Show, and it's used to reference like upper middle class black people or families.
Oh, because he's talking to a black guy, right?
Right, right. Because I guess, yeah, because Lewis is black and Sam is white, so he is talking about the Bradys and Luke's talking about the Huxtables. That makes
Oh.
sense.
I really thought it was Tom Brady because they talked about like home run, right? And that's I'm sorry. That's a baseball thing, right?
Yeah, it's a
And Tom
baseball thing.
Brady is a baseball player.
Is he?
Or I don't know, maybe football? American football?
Yeah, he's a football player.
I am failing
All
at
good.
understanding references.
Honestly,
So,
I'm not great at references either.
when I was younger, because
Mhm.
Dean spouts references, right? Like later on, he also says references that I took note of.
Right.
But like when I was younger, I thought the reason why I didn't get anything that Dean says
Mhm.
is because like I'm just young. Like I haven't been cultured enough, so that's why I don't get it. But now I'm like, no, he just really says shit
Yeah,
though.
he
Like
really just says shit.
later on in the show, he really will just start referencing whatever. And like, you know, Cass's famous line, like, I don't understand
Understand
that
that
reference.
reference.
I
Oh.
feel that incredibly deeply. We have Jess
Mhm.
and Sam sleeping for the next scene. They kiss and then they go to bed and sleep.
Yeah, and they're sleeping back to back under no blanket. Like in late
For
October
real?
where it's probably cold. What are you doing?
Amazing. And then we get the next shadow scene, as I say,
Yeah.
which is Dean walking into the dorm. Is this a dorm?
I think it's an apartment. Because if Sam's a senior, then he probably has the chance to live off campus, and like a dorm would not allow him to live with Jess. Probably like I think school
Yeah,
dorms are
that's
usually
true.
quite like separated by gender, so I think it's an apartment that he and Jess are renting.
We get the Sam and Dean first fight scene.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love how
And
we're
we get the
supposed.
iconic. Okay,
Oh, sorry. I was
go
just
on.
gonna say, I love how we're supposed to be like scared of Dean, like when like we first see like there's an intruder or something. But then you see his silhouette, and he has like his stupid like spiked up hair, and like honestly,
He has
probably his
his
like
like
stupid pretty boy eyelashes like in the silhouette too. Like
literally
that
like
is
he
not
was
a
doing a
threatening figure.
pout.
Yeah,
He was doing a pout with his mouth. He was like pouting. And
right.
he's
Like I'm
not
not
threatening at
scared of this
all.
little man. He's 26, dude.
We get the iconic line,
Right.
the first the first Dean adult Dean line, which is "Whoa, easy, tiger,"
Yeah.
which I
It's the year
love.
of the
I love
tiger,
that
by the
line.
way, right?
Yes,
So
yes, we
very,
are in
very
fact
opportune.
Asian, and we know that it is about to be the year
Right,
of the
right.
tiger.
It's not started yet.
So we have Sam and Dean talking.
Hmm.
A line that I noted there is Sam says, "You should have called," and
Right.
then Dean says, "Well, if I called, would you have picked up?" Which is like, ooh,
Ouch. Yeah, no, big ouch.
ouch. I feel bad for Dean. Like, so throughout this episode, I was like, "Oh, Dean's so fucking annoying. Sam has an interview. Don't you get that?"
Yeah.
And then like towards the end when he was like, "Okay, I'll drive you home."
Yeah.
And then it's the shot of the camera is like it's just showing him. It's
Right.
weird because I've never seen them do this shot again in the show.
Huh.
I don't think. The shot where Dean is sitting, we're skipping ahead, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So the scene where Dean is sitting and the camera is like literally perpendicular to him. Like I was like, I've never seen this shot anywhere else in the show. It's weird that they only use it once, if they
Huh.
only really did use it once.
Yeah, maybe
But
it
also
was
it's
like a
kind of
pilot
weird
thing.
because it separates them. Like it you don't see the brothers together. So I guess like the whole point is like separation or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Good catch.
Yeah. And then Dean says the Smurf comment.
Right. Ugh, love
Yeah.
love a man whose third line is sexual harassment.
Oh my god. And then Sam pulls this thing where he's like, if you want to talk to me,
Right.
you have to talk to Jess too.
Right.
And Dean was like, Dad's on a hunting trip and he hasn't been home in a few days.
Right.
And Sam was like, excuse us, we need to go outside. And it's like,
I
Sam, are
know.
you stupid?
Right, like,
Like,
Sam, what
you
did you think he
know.
was gonna say? Like,
Yeah, what did you
hi,
think?
Sam, can I borrow some money? Like, what did you think was happening here? Oh, so they go outside, right? Yeah?
Yes, yes, they go outside. And then we get exposition, exposition, exposition. Ever since
The
mom
most
died, blah, blah,
unnatural
blah.
dialogue ever.
But at least it looks pretty. Like,
Oh
if you
no,
compare
yeah,
it to
no,
season
Sam
15 of
looks Sam looks
Supernatural.
real pretty with the shadows
Yeah,
on
he
his
has the
face.
K-pop boy mullet haircut.
Oh, he literally
Like,
does.
it's like a middle part and then a little bit of a mullet thing going on. He looks good. He looks pretty.
Yeah.
But it is exposition. And
Mhm.
then Sam says, "You think mom would have wanted this for us? Raised us like warriors?" And I was like,
Yeah, the thing is, I never understood why they said warriors instead of soldiers. Like, warriors sounds like quite like heroic and like noble. Like,
yeah.
soldiers sounds more like, ugh, we're sludging through the trenches.
Well, you know, actually, I don't know. I have no idea why they chose warriors instead of soldiers.
Yeah, I guess maybe they were still trying to like set up the glorification of hunting, even though Sam is
Yeah, the
currently against it.
heroism of it all.
Mm.
Dean asks Sam, are you just gonna do this? Live a normal life?" And then Sam says,
Not
"Not
normal,
normal.
safe.
Safe." Yes. And then Dean's like, "You ran away. Is that why you ran away?" And then Sam says, "Dad told me
Yeah,
that
that.
if I should go, I should stay gone."
Yep.
And like, oh, Sam. Oh,
Ouch.
because when I first watched
Uh
Supernatural,
huh.
I was a Dean girl.
Uh
I
huh.
love Dean. I started watching Supernatural again last year,
Right.
like from the start, because usually I just pick episodes I like and then I
Mhm.
watch those.
Right.
But this time I was like, let's do it chronological. And watching Sam, now that I'm older and closer to his age at the beginning of the show, I'm like, oh, this hits. This,
Yeah.
like, his plot is like, I understand now why a lot of people gravitate towards Sam in the first seasons, because his plot, like, just in this first episode, is already like,
Yeah.
we get Dean saying that he says, like, I can do this alone, but I don't want to,
Oh
which is
right.
such a Dean thesis statement,
It very much
right?
is. Yeah.
And then we get the iconic "I'm 26, dude."
Oh,
Like, Sam is like, "Okay, tell me the lore." And then, well, he doesn't say
iconic.
lore. He doesn't say lore
Yeah, I
yet.
don't think lore comes up until later.
I am looking forward to hearing Sam say the word lore for the
Yeah,
first time.
me too. And also,
But
I'm looking
Dean
forward
does
to
list the
So Get
lore.
This as well.
Yeah, so get this. Sam. And then
Sam.
he lays out the voicemail. And I wrote in my notes, I do not care. Because I really do not care about the plot. Like, I do not care about the hunting plot of any episode of
Mm.
Supernatural. So, in this podcast, if you're expecting us to go into detail about the hunting plot of every episode of Supernatural, unfortunately, we really only care about the characters.
Yeah, very, very true. And I only care about Cass, so
Yeah.
it'll be until season 4 when I'm really engaged.
So Dean is like, it's been 2 years. I've never asked you for a thing.
Right. Which is weird because
And
college is 4 years.
yeah, and Sam is a senior, right?
Right. Like unless Sam like sped through his classes, like
I think like it's been talked about. I've read about this, that like this is a mistake in the
oh
script,
right.
because they were supposed to age down Sam and Dean, and
Ah,
then they aged them up, but
huh.
they forgot to add the 2 years in the
Got it.
dialogue.
That makes
So,
sense.
but like, because they said it already in canon, like, it is canon that, like, for the first 2 years of college, Sam and Dean were in contact.
Yeah.
That could be interesting, you know? Of course, they never explore it, but it could be interesting.
Right. Right. Is that the end of the conversation? Sam's like,
Yeah, I
okay,
think
and
so
then
too.
goes back
Yeah.
in and he's packing. And Jess is like, are you sure you want to do this? You never like talk about your family or like you seem to like have issues with them. Tell me where you're going. And Sam's like, it'll be okay and I'll totally make the interview. And then I don't know, was there an issue with the way it was shot? Because it seemed like he totally abandoned his bag of knives on the bed and just walked out empty handed.
I did not notice that at all.
Yeah, but yeah.
Maybe he just forgot. Maybe later
Right,
on he'll come back. Yeah.
right. And yeah, Jess yells after him, at least tell me where you're going, and then it cuts.
It
And
cuts
Sam's gonna
to
feel
Jericho,
really bad
California.
about walking out on Jess by the end of this episode.
Yeah. At least they have that call in the middle.
That's
Is that even a
true.
call? That's a voicemail, right?
You don't say I love you at the end of a voicemail, though, right?
You, I Okay, here's a fun fact. Like
Uh-huh.
in my country, we don't have voicemails.
Okay.
So I've never received or given a voicemail. Like it's just never occurred, never happened. So I don't know the etiquette of voicemail.
Or
I
okay,
don't.
actually maybe I think actually you do sometimes say I love you at the end of the voicemail. So yeah, maybe Sam was just listening to, because it did seem weird that he didn't reply to the I love you. Like that seems like rude. So perhaps
Yeah, perhaps it is a voicemail. So
yeah,
this is the last time they spoke to each other.
right.
That
Sam
is
didn't answer her
sad.
question and he just left her with
He
all
just
his
left
knives.
without his knives.
What if
Uh,
Brady went and stabbed Jess with one of the knives Sam left behind?
You know what's interesting? You know about Brady and I don't. I don't remember
Oh,
Brady at all. But
the
like
Sam
I
girls are
know he
really into
exists.
him.
Yeah, I know. Like the Sam Girl Nation is really into Brady. Unfortunately, I am more of a Cass girl myself. So, but I love
Yeah.
Sam. Let it be known by everyone that I love Sam.
Yeah, let it
Okay,
be known
so
that I love Cass.
so we go to Jericho, California,
Yes.
and we see a dude come across this woman in a white dress.
Right. And
And
at
I
first
at
I was
first
like,
I was
why the
like,
fuck would you let her in? She looks
because it's
great.
Halloween.
Right,
It's
but then, right,
Halloween.
it's Halloween.
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
this woman has creepy vibes, but that is on purpose and not a result of her ghostly nature.
So the guy is obviously flustered and the girl asks the guy to come home with her.
Right. He stares
And
at her
then
boobs a lot and then says, hell
yeah, and
yeah.
her ties. It's it's a scene from Supernatural.
Yeah, it's a scene from Supernatural. I
So
Do we
they
know
stop.
why she's
Oh,
in that dress? Because I'm assuming she didn't kill herself while wearing her like tits out dress.
yeah, I mean, is it a nightgown?
Is it a nightgown? Do nightgowns are nightgowns usually this tits out?
Because like it's like thematic if it's a nightgown because
That's
Mary
true.
dies in a nightgown.
That's true.
Jess doesn't not wear a nightgown, but
Right,
she
but
dies in a nightgown,
she's
right?
in a white she's in some kind of white dress. There's like a
Yeah.
sash on it
Maybe
though,
it's an
right?
oversized maybe if it's an oversized shirt.
Yeah.
We're just making excuses for Supernatural at this point. They
Mhm.
stop at the house at the end of, and I highlighted this Breckenridge Road. I don't know why. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But the woman says, I can never go home, and disappears.
Right.
Ooh,
Ooh.
creepy. And then, uh, a bat attacks the guy,
Right.
which I thought was so funny. And then he goes running away in his car, ends
Mhm.
up on a bridge, and we see a blood splatter.
Well, first there's like the panning shot from like him in the driver's seat to like her in the back seat and then like her in the
Yeah.
mirror, which I thought was a little classic horror move, but I thought it was fun. Yeah, and then screaming, car shaking, blood. Uh-oh.
We cut to Sam and Dean.
Mhm.
Okay,
Fine
I
gas
have
station
another
scene.
Americanism
Yes.
question. Do gas stations like this really exist?
I mean that one looks pretty run down. or like grimier than the gas stations
Because
I
like
usually see.
this gas station looks like it's from fucking Red Dead Redemption. Like it looks so old
Yeah, no,
and run
it
down.
definitely looked
Isn't
like
that
it got
dangerous?
attacked by the Dust Bowl and then no one like bothered to fix it afterwards.
And this is in California, right? California, what is California?
Right, California doesn't
Is
have
it a
Dust
desert
Bowl.
state?
It's called the Golden State, I think is the nickname, but yes, it is mostly desert and also like
Oh, so maybe it's like in the desert E area of California.
yeah, yeah, that makes
But like
sense.
all I was thinking was like it's so dangerous. Like it looks so dangerous
Yeah,
because
I don't think it's really up to like building code standards.
and Sam is talking about credit card scams just
Right,
like out loud.
right, and also in the sloppiest exposition known to man after the first sloppy exposition of the episode.
Yes. So he's talking about scams for
Mhm.
out loud for everyone and God to hear,
Yep.
just out loud. And
Spit
then
funsies.
he dumps on Dean's cassette collection, which I
Hmm.
thought was funny. We get the iconic line, driver picks the music.
Shotgun shuts his cake hole.
Yes, amazing. And then we get our is this the first music cue? It is, right?
Maybe, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we get Back in Black, which is a good song, I must admit. I
I
have rocked out to it multiple times after watching Supernatural when I was 13.
I feel like I really haven't listened to any music that was made before 2000. So, is Back in Black from after 2000?
AC/DC.
I've
Yes,
heard of
it's an old
AC/DC.
song. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just don't know classic rock like at all.
I only know classic rock because I watched Supernatural
Supernatural.
young. Literally. You know what? A friend of mine, a British friend of mine, was
Mm.
like, "You are like the prime victim of the American dream." Because, like, I watched Supernatural once, and immediately I'm like, I'm gonna listen to classic rock. I'm
Ouch.
going to do all of these things that are considered American.
Yeah, ouch.
It's, yeah, youch.
Yeah, instead of
So,
yassification, USAification.
yeah. It's very unfortunate, and
Mm.
we are pushing back against the USAification of gray.
Yeah,
Okay, so uh, they drive some more, and they end up
on the
on the
bridge.
bridge. On the
Right.
bridge.
And for some reason, all the
And
blood splatter that was there before is gone, and they're like, the
yeah,
car is
it's
completely
totally
clean.
gone.
There's no
The
sign of
car
a
is
struggle.
the car is clean. There's nothing on it.
Do you think she
And
like
then
just licked up all the blood? Like what do we think happened?
no, because like if the body is gone,
Yeah,
it's not a leap to say that the ghost
disappeared
like
the blood.
disappeared with the blood as well, because
Mm,
it is also part of the body. So
right, that is true.
yeah, it's not a continuity error at all.
Yeah.
So we have federal marshals telling Sam and Dean that they're too young, and Dean saying, "Oh, that's awfully kind of you, mister," or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I was like, "Oh, this guy is charming, unfortunately." Okay, so they talk about a bit to the marshal about what's going on,
Yeah.
and then
Dean
and
has
Dean was like,
his
"Yeah,
ACAB
do you remember
moment.
the line?"
That is exactly the kind of crack police work I'd expect out of you guys.
Yeah.
Sam stomps on
And then
his
Sam
foot,
Sam
very
steps on
sibling.
him. Yeah, and then afterwards, like Dean hits him on the head. It's like, what was
Yeah,
that for? And it's like, it's very funny. It's very siblings.
it is
Like I
very
have done that
siblings.
with my siblings.
Absolutely.
It's very fun to watch. And then, they go out. They go looking for this girl.
Right, Troy's ex,
What's her
Amy.
name? Amy?
Right.
Amy. And
And they
then
find
they
her.
say they're Troy's uncles. Did you catch
Right,
that?
yes. Which, like, you know what? It's fair, because, like, I'm like, the aunt to like people who are older than me, because like my dad's the youngest out of like seven
Yeah.
siblings. But like,
Yeah, my mom's the youngest out of 10 siblings.
oh
So
wow,
it's
nice, high
it's
five.
it's
Right.
I have cousins that are super old.
Yeah.
Like older than my mom.
I think I'm
That's
technically like a grandmother. Of course, like one of like my nephews is like in his 20s and had a baby.
yeah. It's the natural order when you have a big family.
Right.
Like it just happens.
Right.
But like like would you introduce yourself as like I'm the grandmother?
I would
I'm the
not.
grand aunt.
I would
Like,
not.
you
Right.
know.
Like cousins works so much better. I
Yeah,
don't
we're
get
his
it.
cousins. We're his uncles. You're 26, dude.
Also, it's weird.
And
Okay, Amy
then
says he never
okay.
mentioned you to me. Like, how often do you talk about your uncle to like your partner? Like, not often.
Yeah, that's why they were able to get away with it
Yeah.
because yeah, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Hmm.
And then they're talking in the cafe booth,
Yeah.
and they mention the pentagram.
Uh huh.
Sam points out that it's actually to ward off the devil, etc.,
Right.
etc. And then Dean, there's only one thing that I remember from this scene, and it's that Dean says ladies, like he calls the
Right.
girls ladies. And I
Right. I
find that
remember that
so
too.
annoying.
Yeah, I was like, I think I wrote down Dean misogyny tally number 2 or something.
It's so annoying. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe,
it seems
maybe,
condescending.
yeah, it is.
Right. Also, like her boyfriend just died. Like, be a little nicer.
But they do have that cute moment where like the girl where Amy says, "Oh, they talk about something," and then Sam and Dean both go, "What do they talk
Oh
about?" at
yeah,
the
at the
same
same
time. And I
time.
was like, "Oh, siblings.
Siblings.
Look at them."
Yeah, still in sync after many years apart.
And then they go and research about what Amy said, which was that someone got murdered on Centennial.
Right. Yeah.
And then when
We
researching,
get to see the
Dean's
world's
researching, and
oldest
he,
Google.
yeah, and he can't find jack shit.
Right.
So Sam pushes him aside and does the research for him. And
Yeah.
Dean calls Sam a control freak.
Which is so
Where
ironic, given
I
that
know
Dean is absolutely the control freak.
they find out that,
Yeah, Constance
oh my god,
Welch is
Constance Welch committed suicide
right.
after
Her
both her
children
kids
drowned
died.
in a bathtub or something.
Yeah, her kids died on the bathtub. She died on the bridge.
Right. Oh my god, wait, sorry. Um, sorry, I'm looking at the transcript now, and
Yes.
it says that the last line of the article is Connie might have been quiet, but she was the sweetest, most caring girl I ever knew. Said Deanna Kripke, a neighbor. Eric just name dropped his own wife into this
Yeah.
article.
Well, he's in love.
Oh, right.
Who can
He's
you
not like
blame?
that hateful Jessica who broke his heart in college and now must die
Yeah.
on ceilings.
So they go to the bridge, and it's
Mhm.
night now. It's nighttime.
Right.
They go to the bridge, and they start talking about, like, Sam is like, I'm not gonna do this forever.
Right.
Which, oh my
Oh,
god.
sorry, Sam.
Sorry, Sam.
Sorry, bud.
Like, Dean was like, you're one of us. And Sam's like, I'm not like you. This is not gonna be my life. And
Yeah.
then, like, Dean, I keep on saying iconic, but this is actually not that iconic. But, like, the scene where Dean was like, you have a responsibility. And Sam's like, what? To you? To mom? Mom is dead and she's never coming back.
Right.
And Dean's like, gets mad at him.
Right. That scene is so interesting to me because it's like earlier we see like the brothers like roughhousing around like with the like foot stomping and the head smacking, but like this is like a moment that feels like actually dangerous. Like it no longer feels like siblings. Like I'm like scared of Dean. Like I'm like realizing there's like a hierarchy in this relationship, you know?
I don't
Like
know. I didn't see it as that. I didn't see it
I'm
as Dean being
As a
like
Dean hater, as a Dean hater, it
Are
was
you ready to alienate half of our
sorry.
audience?
As a Dean, as a complicated feelings about Dean person, um, I think it was also like, because like I'm an older sibling and I was like I would never do that to like my younger sister like that, like I would not do that, like that's so bad, like they're
you
on
have
a bridge.
never you have never had your sister on a chokehold.
No,
Are you? No?
no.
Well, I am the younger
Once she bit
sibling,
me
so
until I bled because I was singing a song that annoyed her, but like
I think it's the sibling hierarchy. Like if you're older, you're much older, you're not allowed to be an
I'm
asshole.
only 2 years older. I think I'm allowed to be an
Okay.
asshole. I just never
You're
really
kind of
was.
allowed. Meanwhile, I have literally like gone on wrestle fights with my siblings.
I've definitely
So,
like fought my sister before, but I feel like it was never like just like a sudden like there was always a chance for her to fight back. Like the chokehold, like there wasn't really a chance for Sam to fight back, you know?
yeah, I guess so, but it wasn't like a serious threat. Like he was just like holding him
Yeah, I don't. I think I'm also
against the
scared of
post.
heights, so I was like, "Oh God, you're shoving him against a bridge. He's going to die."
Anyway, they do jump off the bridge because they see Constance Welch.
Right,
And then she jumps off the bridge and then she turns on the engine of the car and drives them off
right,
to the side of the bridge.
right. Dean gets
And
covered in
Sam
mud. Sam's
holds
hanging
on.
off the edge.
Yeah, Sam's hanging off the edge because he's smarter than Dean. And and he's holding off the edge and then he does this little laugh, which is the first time we see him like I guess like laugh in
Right.
Dean's vicinity. Like he does this laugh of relief. And I was
Yeah,
like,
which
"Oh,
was
that's
very
sweet." Because
sweet.
they
I was
also
like, "Oh, like you were just fighting, but
yeah.
you still care."
Yes. And then, Sam gets off the bridge. Dean, I mean, gets off
Dean says,
the
"That
water, and then
Constance
they go
chick,
up.
what a bitch," which is Dean
I
misogyny
know.
tally number 3.
And he shouts it so loud
Yeah,
too. I was
so
like,
loud.
every single time I watch this episode, and I've watched it a bunch, I always am like, oh, oh, he really just says it. Like,
Yeah, like so
he really
loud.
just shouts it. Yeah.
Right, and it's like I feel like in 2005, I feel like the word bitch was like way worse than it is now. Like I feel like now people just say it to like talk to their friends or whatever all the time. I feel like in 2005 it was more of a swear word. So like truly Dean misogyny moments number 3.
If you keep that tally up, we will never. We'll like until the end of the show. I'm interested if we
Yeah,
keep
you know
this
what?
tally up.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll write down the numbers.
So they go to the motel and find John's room because of the
Hmm.
credit card,
Right.
whatever. And then, they find that
You figure it
John
out.
actually already solved
Yep.
the thing. He already solved the mystery.
Hmm.
So why is this Constance chick, as Dean says?
Right.
Do you say chick, by the way?
Yeah, he said that Constance chick, what a bitch.
No, no, you. Do you say chick?
No, I do not say chick. I feel like
Yeah,
there was like a reckoning, like in like maybe 2010, that it was kind of misogynistic, and then it sort of like tapered off.
died
And I was too
down.
busy
Yeah.
being in elementary school before then to say chick.
I actually like in my country,
Uh-huh.
um, you call like a group of beautiful girls chicks,
Oh,
and that's like a bad thing. That's not something you should do. But
right.
it's like
Like it's a
something that like
catcalling thing.
yeah, it's a catcalling thing.
Mm,
So like oi chicks like that, and it's not good. So every time Dean says chick, I do like flinch a little bit because of
yeah,
the way it's used in my culture.
yeah.
So
I don't think it's like
so
necessarily as bad in
As
America,
insulting.
but like
Yeah.
it's definitely like a
It's
little bit
something.
condescending.
They have the no chick flick moments, you know.
Right. Also, why is Sam apologizing? Like, I think Sam did nothing wrong. I think Sam said things that were completely correct, and then Dean freaked out on him. Why is Sam apologizing?
Well, because okay, to put myself in Sam's perspective, like he did insult their mother. Like he was like, and that's like
He
a sensitive topic
said,
for
I
Dean.
guess, but he said she wasn't coming back, which is a true statement.
Well, that's true.
Like, he wasn't like,
Yeah.
Mom, that mom chick, what a bitch. Like, like he just said she's
Yeah.
not coming back, even if we get this revenge, which I think is a fair point.
But it's a sweet moment and it's referenced in the
Right,
show,
everyone
again.
really big fan of the line "no chick flick" moments. Oh, is this
Yes.
Dean misogyny telly number 4?
Why? Because he says chick flick? I think chick flick is fine. Or is it
Okay,
because he says jerk and bitch?
I can we combine no chick flick moments and bitch, and also when he
I think
calls the men who were killed by the woman in white "you sly dogs"? Can we combine that into one misogyny tally? Like they're all kind of small, but can I combine those into one?
yes.
All
I
right,
I approve of this
all right.
combination.
Dean misogyny tally number
Anyway,
4.
so Dean finishes up showering and then he goes out to buy food
Mm-hmm.
and it's morning.
Right.
I don't know how the time worked. Like, was it midnight when they went to the bridge? So, like, it's morning now. But,
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, maybe, right?
Did they even get to
So,
sleep? I hope they got to sleep a bit, but I don't think they
yeah,
did.
probably not.
Yeah.
Sam and Dean.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
also we see that John had a picture of him with Sam and Dean in
Yeah.
in the room, which was
Sam
quite
finds it.
sweet, honestly. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is
it's
quite
probably
sweet.
quite sad for Sam to see, given that his dad kicked him out and hasn't spoken to him in 4 years.
Yeah. So,
Right.
Dean has his iconic putting on the jacket, the
Right.
leather jacket
Right.
moment
Yep.
that he steals off his dad's
Right.
room.
Transmasca.
And work, work, fashion baby.
Oh.
He looks good. And then he gets caught by the police,
Right.
and
The
he
iconic
tells
my
Sam
boobs.
to go.
Right.
What?
And then the iconic my boobs line.
Yeah, my boobs. You got anything that's real? My boobs, which is, you know,
Yeah,
um,
transcene moments, but also Dean misogyny tally number 5.
mm, is
No,
it?
I
Is
won't.
it? Yeah. He's, he's
Yeah,
he's got boobs.
yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
And he is like this is like AMV fodder. Like if you make a Dean AMV,
Right.
you put this scene. And I support that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we find Dean in the police office.
hmm
He's being interviewed. And then he says a bunch of words that mean nothing to me. He says, well, first, I'm assuming Ted Nugent is a reference.
I don't know, but
Well, we'll never know.
yeah, I mean, doesn't
Yeah.
he take a lot of? Okay, so
It
I'm
it
looking it
it
up, and Ted Nugent is a hard rock guitarist. So yeah, I think it's just Dean's thing of taking names off of music artists.
yeah. And then the police says you're in trouble, and Dean was like misdemeanor kind of trouble or squeal like a pig kind of trouble, and I'm like, what do those words mean?
All right, okay, well, like a misdemeanor is just like it's like below a felony in terms of crimes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. So I know that squeal like a pig. Right. At first I was like, is this sexual? Or like maybe he just means like you will be slaughtered kind of trouble, like like a pig squealing before it's slaughtered. I'm not
Yeah.
really sure.
I thought it was like a song reference or something, but I guess it's not. He's just saying
I think this
shit
is
at this
just
point.
Dean just saying shit.
And then we see, for the first time, John's journal, which
Journal.
will haunt this show
Mm-hmm.
for eternity. This journal will be here for the rest of time.
Yeah.
And then like something I noticed was like when it pans to the journal and
Mm-hmm.
it pans to the coordinates,
Yeah.
you see like the grain of the film, and it reminded me that this was shot in film.
Right,
And I was
right.
like, yeah, it's good. It's a good choice to shoot,
Yeah.
especially because of the vibe of season 1 to
Mm-hmm.
3. Like
Yeah,
I think it really amplifies that vibe. So I
definitely.
commend that.
Yeah, no, it's attempts to be a gritty show, and by using gritty film, that helps.
So, Sam, on the other hand, is out there interviewing Mr.
Yeah,
Welch.
being the worst fake reporter in the world.
Yeah, he's saying that John and him are partners, and he's
Mhm.
fact checking. Oh my god,
Yeah.
king of fact checking.
Oh,
Dean has the paperclip escape
right. Oh,
after
yeah,
Sam fakes a 911 call. And in my
right.
notes, I wrote, Dean is so pretty. He is so handsome, so
So
charming.
yeah, I
And
just
he
think
is.
his hair
Like, in
looks
this
too
scene,
stupid
he
in this
looks so
episode for
good.
me to be attracted to him. His hair is just so stupid and spiky.
Well, he's having a moment. He's having a hot boy moment. He escapes and then calls Sam, and
Right
they figure
after,
out
yeah.
that Dad has already left Jericho. Why
Hmm.
am I calling John Dad? Well,
Dean
um,
and Sam
John,
coded.
John already left Jericho, and
Right,
then Sam is like, "What's going on?" And then he hits the ghost, but it's a ghost, so
right,
he doesn't hit it. And
right.
then the ghost appears on his backseat,
Yeah,
right? And then it's like, take
take
me
me
home
home.
or
Yeah,
whatever. And Sam was like, you're scared to go home. And he drives her to the house.
yeah.
And
But well,
then,
first she forces herself on him.
well, no, he drives her to the front of the house, and then she like assaults him because like to make Sam vulnerable to her,
Right, he has
he
to
needs
be
to be unfaithful.
unfaithful, and apparently, sexual assault is equivalent to cheating.
To Yeah. Well, it's a ghost. It's an evil ghost. It goes
Yeah,
to
yeah,
hell afterwards. So,
right, yeah.
you
So
know,
yeah, her morals are not pleasant.
Dean shoots at the woman in white. Sam drives the woman
Yeah,
into the house
yeah. He
now.
he crashes the Impala into the house.
Yeah. Which is such a
Yeah,
moment. It was
how
good.
badly made is this? Are cars really that
It's
strong?
wood, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I
I
don't
guess
know.
cars are that strong.
But like he was like kind of phased afterwards. Like Dean was like, "Are you all right?"
Right.
Cuz
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And then
The ghosts of the
uh
kids show up.
the ghost of the kids of Constance
Right.
shows up
And
and
they're all
then
like,
sends
why
that
did you
sends
kill
all
us,
of them.
mommy, or something? Or
Yeah. No, I think they just
no.
say, "Mommy, you're home."
Oh, and somehow they all die via group hug?
They die by a group hug in what looks like a scene where they're being sucked in by the empty.
Yeah. No, I remember writing down the CGI here is not great.
Yeah. And 15 years later, they will use the same CGI
Yep.
to get cast into the empty. So, we get Highway to Hell again. Well, no,
No,
that's
well, we get
later.
AC/DC again when they start driving back. Yeah, but it
Yeah.
is Highway to Hell, which is new
Yeah.
song from the last one.
But like Dean says like if you damage my car, I'll kill you, which is,
Right,
classic Dean moment.
right.
And then they
Very
do the
true.
Highway to Hell.
Uh-huh.
Dean's like the scene that we talked about earlier that he was like, "Oh, are you going? Are you going?" And Sam's like, "Yeah." And Dean was like, "Oh, okay." And they do the classic body cop comedy scene where like Dean goes, "We make a good team."
Right.
And Sam's like, yeah, and then just walks away.
So Sam comes in, he's looking for Jess. There's a note on the table, like over some cookies that are like, I miss you, I love you. He's like, yay, great, time to eat some cookies and leave crumbs all over my bed while my girlfriend's in the shower, and afterwards we'll have hot return sex before my interview. But then blood starts dripping on his face, and he looks up, and there's
And
Jess
Jess is on the
stabbed in the stomach on the
ceiling.
ceiling, just like Mary. And then she bursts into flames, and he screams, and then Dean runs in and drags Sam out while he's like screaming and trying to get to Jess. I guess like sort of as a parallel of like Dean taking Sam out of the fire when they were
Yes.
little. And then they're outside, and Sam's like, well, there goes my hopes at a normal life. Goodbye, Stanford Law School. Time for guns. We've got work to do.
Yes, we got work to do. My question is, what are they doing with like a uh a carload of guns and weapons in a crime scene?
Right,
Like
I was
it's
like,
just
this is
open.
open, and there are like firefighters and police, like right over there.
Literally, you can see the sirens. Like the sirens are in the background.
Right, like,
You know?
my dudes. My dudes.
They were having a moment and they
Yeah,
needed to do the we got work to do because it is an iconic
right, and
scene.
the whole trunk closing shot is also iconic.
So that's the end of the episode.
Right.
So what did you think about this episode?
I thought like for a pilot it was pretty good. I feel like it established the family relationship like pretty
Mhm.
well. I mean I thought the hunt was kind of boring. And also like I'm aware that they like adapted the monster of the week from Mexican folklore, was it? And then like probably botched it a lot. Um, but like I don't know, I liked the cinematography, I liked the shadows. Um,
Yeah, the shadows were
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, and I feel like it like set us up for a good season where like I know what's gonna be happening as monsters of the week while they try to find John and like more brother moments. So yeah, I feel like it was a decent episode.
So we have this segment called Guess the IMDb Rating,
Yes.
and I already looked at the IMDb before
Oh,
this because I was trying to figure out what we're going to do the segment about.
right.
So I know the IMDb rating of the pilot, but just
Okay.
the pilot. I don't know anything else about the
Okay.
other episodes. So for this episode, I'm just going to ask you, what do you think is the IMDb rating of this episode?
Okay. Well, the pilot is going to be the most widely watched and most widely rated episode, which I guess makes it a bit fuzzy. I think it was like decent, and I feel like people who like are very into the show would go and rate it like as like a nostalgia thing. So maybe like a 8.7.
You got it like right. Did you look?
No,
You're,
I did it. Is it
you
like
know,
literally an 8.7?
it's literally
Oh
8.7.
my
Yes.
god. Good for
You're
me.
very good. Yeah. I would have guessed like a little bit lower, like maybe an 8.5.
Hmm.
'Cause like I guess I've just watched it so many times already.
Right.
So like it doesn't have any impact on me anymore cuz I've literally just watched it so many times already.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, it's an episode.
Right. Those lines that I already know sure do line.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for this episode of Busty Asian Beauties. Um,
Ugh, no Asians in this
so
episode.
yes, no Asians in the episode. So next week we're going to be doing season 1, episode 2,
Redacted.
Redacted.
I don't know,
Okay.
like, subscribe?
No, it's follow, I think.
Follow? Follow. Follow us.
Yes, follow us on social media and on your podcast, whatever.
Right.
And then, yeah,
And
send us asks or
Right,
whatever,
recommend
you
us
know?
to your friends because we're very interesting to listen to and everyone loves us.
Yes. We
And
did not just alienate all our Dean
right,
audiences.
I love Teen. He's super totally hot, and his eyes are pretty. What do Dean girls like about him?
I don't
Um,
know.
he's he's serving absolute mother figure. Is that something they like?
He's serving absolute eldest daughter. Like, that's
Right,
what they
yes.
say, right?
He's serving absolute eldest daughter syndrome. He is also bisexual
I mean, he is, so
and well he is,
good for
yes.
him.
And also a baby girl.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. We love Sam, we love Dean, we love Cass. You
Yes.
know, we will cater to your interests.
Yes. Right.
Okay, that's it.
Right. Oh, and you can email us at
You can email us.
bustyasianbeautiespod@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's it.
Have a
Okay.
nice night or morning
Have
or
a
day,
nice
guys.
have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.